Hello YouTube, and welcome to another virtual world tutorial. In today's video we're going to be creating terrain using a height map and decorating that terrain with layers, 3 different texture types. We're going to use a grass, a mud and a dirt texture. If you'd like to follow along with me, the textures I use in this video, please see the description because the link will be in there to get access to these files that I'm using. And there'll be the textures, their normal maps and the height map. Right, let's go ahead. First thing you're going to do is download that file that's in the description. It's about 32 megs or something of media file that I've uploaded for you. Go to File, New, and you create Default. Choose Default, sorry. And when you've got Default, click on the floor plane, highlight it, and just press Delete. We don't need that anymore. Then what you're going to want to do is get the folder that you've downloaded. It should be in a zip file. You extract it and you should have something like this called height map and textures. Drag that into your Unreal, into your content browser somewhere. I'll just drop it in the root directory of content, so it should just appear. Give it a second to import. Just take a few more moments, and it's letting you know it's imported as a normal map. And then that's done. And here we are. What you should have now is something that looks like this. You should have Dirt 1 diffuse texture, which is just a normal texture type. You should have Dirt 1 normal, Grass 1 diffuse, Grass 1 normal, the height map, Mud 1 and Mud 1 normal map. We can go ahead and delete the height map from here. The reason we're deleting the height map is because as soon as we imported it, the Unreal Engine turned it into a U.asset file. Now U.asset files, Unreal sees them as completed files, therefore it doesn't actually access them. You can't actually import them directly unless you use Windows File Explorer, then move about some folders. Doing it that way, that's where how you can import them. But we're going to be using it in the height map section in just a minute, and if you try to use the one in your content browser, it just wouldn't load. So what you're going to want to do then is go up to your modes panel, click on landscape, give it a second just to load up, then you should be presented with this. Then from here you've got 2 basic options: create new if you want to create a terrain and sculpt it yourself, or what we're going to be choosing is import file, this one here. And then where it says the 3 dots under height map file, click on that and browse to the directory or browse to the folder where you originally got it saved to, not in your content browser. So for me that was desktop, and then we go to height map and textures. As you can see, it's appeared here. Then we double click on height map. There you go. It makes a basic mesh. That's not what the height map will look like. That's just in the meantime processing. It's just showing you that it's understood your command, and then it's waiting to render the terrain. All we've got to do from here, the only option we have to set to get it to import correctly is the scale values. Normally you wouldn't touch these because things can mess up horribly. But in this case we want to leave the scale for X and Y on 100 by default, and Z, go ahead and input the value of 180. And the rest should look like that. Your section size should be 127 by 127 quads. Your sections per component should be 2 times 2 sections. Your number of components should be 32 by 32. Your overall resolution 8129 by 8129, and total components 1024. If that all looks right to you, and you've clicked on the height map and you've got this looking like this, just go ahead and import. Now it will take a few moments to import because it's quite a large terrain, as you can probably tell by the overall resolution size being 8129 by 8129, but it won't take too long, and when it comes in, Unreal will apply a material to it, the default material, which is just a green checkerboard. Computer just froze in a minute. Let me just get a second to unfreeze. We'll click back up on the modes panel, up on the place mode, which is the box and the light bulb next to it, so we can move around freely without sculpting our terrain by accident. We'll come down to a flat surface. Now what you want to do is when you're in the place mode section, just click on your terrain. You can tell it's highlighted because the contour goes highlighted around the whole terrain. But once it's selected, then what you want to do is, what we want to do now is we want to, first things first actually, what we will do, once you've got that selected, come into your content browser, right click, and come to material, and we'll give this the name master underscore terrain underscore final. Feel free to go ahead and call it whatever you want, just remember the name. Then double click on that, open it up, resize the window so you can see the content browser as well, zoom out a bit, highlight all the different textures. So you've got dirt 1 should highlight by holding control and left clicking on dirt 1 normal map, grass 1 normal map, mud 1 and mud 1 normal map. Drag all of them into the material editor, and as you can see, it's created a texture sample for each. It's created a texture sample node for each material, so we'll have to do that manually. We'll just go ahead and sort this out a moment. It's best to place them. If you can't see the name of the texture sample, just highlight the one and come across here to material expression texture base. Now we've got more, then we can expand it. Come here to material expression texture base, and it should tell you the name of the texture. This is grass 1 normal map we've got highlighted, and this one is mud 1 normal map. That's fine. We'll do the same for up here. We'll have our grass, then our dirt, then our mud. Then what you're going to want to do, when you've got them sorted out, right click on a bit of space and type in landscape, LANDSCAPE, all one word. Then the one you're looking for, the node you want, is the one that says landscape layer blend. Click on that, and as you can see, it's just got one output at the moment. Make sure layer blend is selected, come down to where it says material expression landscape layer blend, and it should say layers 0 array elements and a little plus icon. Click on the plus icon 3 times, so now it says 0, 1 and 2. Click on the drop down arrow next to 0 and give this the name of grass 1, and leave the blend type on LB weight blend. Collapse that back and expand number 1, and we'll give this the name dirt 1, and make sure the blend type's on LB weight blend again. Then click on number 2, the drop down arrow, and give this the name mud 1. And there you go. As you can see, our layer blend now, as well as one output execution pin, it's now got 3 inputs called layer grass 1, layer dirt 1 and layer mud 1. What we're going to do is just quickly highlight that and press Ctrl and W to duplicate, or you can do Ctrl C to copy, then Ctrl V to paste, and we'll bring this LB layer blend down here next to the normal maps we sorted out earlier. Drag that up there. Now what you're going to want to do, make sure your grass texture is selected. It says grass 1 here, look. So we want to put the top execution pin to the right, drag that out and put it into layer grass 1. Make sure they all correspond. Grass goes into grass, dirt goes into dirt and mud goes into mud. So the next one is dirt 1, so the same execution pin on this node, drag that out and put it into dirt 1. And the last one, same execution pin, top right, into layer mud 1, because that's our mud texture. Then what we do, Same thing for process for the normal maps. This one is the grass 1 normal map, so it's top execution pin. I'm going to grass 1. That is dirt 1 normal map, so this execution pin. I'm going to dirt 1, and that's obviously got to be mud 1, so I can go to mud 1 normal map. Now what we do, we just highlight these a bit more. You can bring these down, bring these up. Now what we can do is from the layer blend that's got all your diffuse textures hooked up to it, take the output pin and drag it out into base color, as you can see. And then take the execution pin from the next layer blend that's got all your normal maps attached to it, and attach that to, you guessed it, normal, the normal map. And that's pretty much most of the setup done. Then what you're going to want to do is give it an apply. Then give it a save. What we will do now, actually, one more last thing we've got to do is take the roughness, drag the roughness out, and go down to constant on your drop down menu and click on constant. Make sure it's highlighted, and click on value, and make sure you turn off the shininess by pressing 1 and pressing return. Yeah, because obviously grass, dirt and mud don't shine in real life, so we're just turning the roughness off, which is basically how shiny it is. Give that an apply and save. You'll know you've got it right because your material preview will look like a black sphere or a cube or a cylinder or a teapot or a plane, whatever you've got highlighted in your material preview window. That's finished, so we can go ahead and close that. Now what you want to do is make sure your landscape's selected and come across here onto the details panel where it says landscape material, and drag your master terrain final material into the landscape material. And if all's correct, the terrain should go black in just a moment. That means you've done it correct. Just one last thing to do before we can start painting our terrain. It's very simple, straightforward. Come back up to your terrain tab, your landscape, and then under these subsections here, make sure you're in paint. And now you can see down here we have grass 1, dirt 1 and mud 1, but underneath it says none, none and none. That means it hasn't added a layer info allocated to it yet to be able to tell it where it can paint. So to do that, what you want to do is click on this little plus arrow. Then the two options will appear. You want the top one called weight blended layer normal, click on that, then give it a place to save. We'll choose height map and textures. The first one you choose will take a little while because it's texturing the whole of the terrain, that the first texture you've selected. The other two, like dirt 1 and mud 1, won't take that long to input to save because it's already basically, because the first one you choose, let it goes ahead and layers the whole terrain in that texture. As you can see, we now have a grassy terrain. The texture tile's a bit too much, we can sort that out in just a moment. What you can do now, if you want to sort out your textures, if you want to make the size of your layers bigger or smaller, tile more or less, what you can do is open back up your master terrain final material, then come all the way here, somewhere around here maybe, right click and type in landscape again, all one word. Then the one you want is landscape layer chords, as in layer coordinates. Click on that. As you can see, you've just got one output pin. Drag the pin into the UVs of each texture sample, into UV. So into the first UV, into the second UV, into the third, then into the normal maps UV, into the second normal map UV, then into the last UV. And now if we give that an apply, the one we're going to take notice of over here under the details panel is map and scale. If we put that, say, on a 5, That should make it 5 times as big. If you were to do mapping rotation, that would rotate. If you put it on 45, say, it would rotate at 45 degrees. Your material, your layer, and that's the map panning on the U and V at both different directions, the X and Y directions, up, down, left, right sort of thing, you know. And what I will say, whatever you've got this landscape coordinates plugged into, whichever materials you've got it plugged into, when you change the mapping scale, which I have now changed it to 5, everything that's plugged into, every texture will change accordingly to 5. So if you wanted material, if you wanted different layers with different texture sizes, you wouldn't actually apply this landscape chords. I just think it's better practice to plug it into everything, every layer, so you've got all your textures are roughly the same size. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it might not be necessary. That would be up to your own discretion. Okay, when that's done, we'll give it an apply and save. And when we go back into the game, you'll see the texture of the grass has now become a lot bigger. Can you see that? It tiles less now. If we go back to modes, the landscape under modes tab, as you can see, we've got tool strength, which shows you how much of the effect will be applied, which, yeah. Then you've got brush size, which is the overall brush size of what you're using, the overall brush. Then you've got brush fall off. The more brush fall off you have, like say up to 1, the maximum, the smoother the transition between layers, textures will be. It won't have so much of a harder edge. It will merge quite nicely with your other layers. What we will do now, if you want, since we've got the grass layers all installed properly, we'll go ahead and we'll do dirt 1. Click on the plus. Then we'll choose weight blended layer normal. We'll choose a place to save the layer info. We'll choose Heightmap textures. That'll just take a moment. It's already done. Then we'll choose this plus. As you can see, it says dirt 1 layer info, as well as this one says grass 1 layer info. It now has its layers so that you can start using these to be painted. And we'll just go ahead and select glass 1, mud 1, and we'll choose weight blended layer normal. And we'll choose a place to save. We'll choose Heightmap and textures. Now it's just a matter of simply clicking on the layer you want and go ahead and paint. Don't worry if you get a checkboard pop up when you're painting terrain. That's just Unreal updating. As you can see, I'm painting this layer on here. It's like that. Then click on mud, like this. Click back on grass, and there you go. That is how to make a terrain via a height map and then add different layers to that terrain. As you can see, that's pretty good. Feel free to experiment with the texture size and your material sizes, and don't forget about brush fall off, because as you can see down here where I use it quite significantly, can you see the transition between the two textures? It looks a lot more natural if you have a higher fall off. I recommend anywhere between 0.5 to its fullest value of 1. If you've liked this video at all, YouTube, or it's been useful, please give it a like, a thumbs up, or leave a comment in the comment section if there's still anything you're unsure of. I promise I'll get back to you. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. We could do with the support. Thank you very much for watching YouTube, and have a great day.